Today we're going to have a look around the neighborhood here. This is where I'm living now, out in the country. And we're going to look around and see what animals we can find. I think we might see a few birds, but to see the animals is kind of rare. But you know what we can do? We can look for their tracks, because they'll leave tracks in the snow. So we'll do that. Yeah, here is coyote. I saw the coyote go by here the other day, and you can see his footprints. And their back ones are a little longer. This is the back foot of the coyote. And here's the front paw of the coyote. And he walked along there. If you look really carefully, you can see just a little footprint there of him. Not incredibly distinct. But the coyotes, they're all over here. And they're looking for the rabbits and the squirrels. But we have a fence around here, but they still manage to get in. But there's lots of coyotes in this neighborhood. Lots of good neighbors too. And the coyotes, God looks after them. And if you ever heard them yell at night, you can go outside at night and then you howl like a coyote. They yip, 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 yell and that. And then you can get them to answer. And if you want to have some fun, you should try that some evening. And they're in the city too. I hear them quite often. I love coyotes. Go. So what we have here, I'm quite sure, is a squirrel. And there's Jimmy. Oh, he thinks the squirrel. He's looking for it. And Jimmy kind of wrecked it. But you have the two legs. Now, something about squirrels is that they say, oh, squirrels hibernate. But they actually don't truly hibernate, or they sleep all winter. When it gets warm out, the squirrels, they come out to see what's going on, and they'll visit around and see if they can find a bit of food they hide in the fall. And you can see over there the far one, you can see it. You can see his tail mark a little bit over there too. That when he jumped from there to there, his tail dropped down just a little bit and drug. Squirrels are amazing things, and they can make great pets. And hopefully these squirrels are safe in their trees this winter, where God provided for them all summer, and then they hide their food and they come and get it on warm days. This here, I'm quite sure, is a squirrel. And if you look, whoa, there's a puppy. No, stay away, puppy. See, that is a track that you won't see too often. Well, you'll see it a lot. But this is a mouse, and you can see how he's hopping along there. And the mouse, he goes all the way across over into there. And I'll bet you if we followed him, we could find his home there somewhere. But we're not going to disturb him in the winter here. But he's probably sleeping very comfortably in the cold. But they have to come out too and find food. God provides for the mice too. And this is amazing. All the stuff you can do in the woods on a winter day. You can see a lot of God's nature. You might not see everything. I've been out quite a few times here, and it seems every time I go out, though, I see a squirrel. Just a fleeting glimpse of a squirrel. This is very interesting. You have the little line along there that you saw, and the mouse, he would be underneath the surface, going along, and then he'd come up here. And you can see where he's come up. And, you know, the mice, they run underneath the snow, and we see quite a few tracks from above the surface over there. And if you look right across there, you can see they've kind of made some branches. And over right there, there's where he came up, right there. You see the little spot he came up, but he didn't go anywhere after that. He went back down in the snow. The mice, they're pretty cool things. So this is one of the more interesting footprints that we've come across here. And I didn't see this animal. I think it might have been a dinosaur, a T-Rex or something like that. Well, the shape is kind of like that, and you see how far he jumped apart. But I think if we look closely, we'll be able to recognize what kind it is, what kind of animal. But I didn't see this one going across here. But let's go have a close look. See how they're shaped, and look how far apart his footprints are there. And you get down here and you look closely. And Whoa, what's this? That looks like a boot. That's a boot. So whatever animal made these was wearing boots. And I've seen some dogs wearing boots, but that's an awfully big dog. But I suspect that what do you think? What kind of animal do you think made that? I think it's one of God's special animals that he's taking care of. So you can text me if you have an idea. Just send me an email or a text and we'll see if we can figure out what kind of animal made that print. Look what we have here. This here is a deer. You can see the footprint from the deer. And I don't know the difference between a mule deer and a whitetail. Whitetail are more common than the mule deer, but that's their track right there, and they're all throughout the forest. And there's way more deer out here now than there used to be because nobody hunts them anymore to speak of. And where we're living right now, it's mostly acreages, so people don't shoot too much around this area. There's Jimmy, he's looking at you. There's Jimmy. He loves to chase the ball. Don't you, Jimmy? Hey, we found somebody's home here. This is a squirrel, and you can see where all his little burrows are. And he hides in there on the cold winter days, and on the spring days like today, or spring-like days, he comes out, and then he'll eat pine cones or spruce cones, and that's what these are. He's been eating them, and he just eats a little bit out of the inside of them. There's not much food in those, but I guess he finds enough that makes him happy. He'll also eat mushrooms, and I've seen squirrels take mushrooms that big, and then try to take them up their tree to their nest to feed. The squirrels, they're busy all winter. Well, we saw some of the creatures God made. Well, we saw some of the tracks of the creatures God made. But it was kind of fun. But that's something you can do on a cold winter day like today. And you'll see all kinds of tracks. And then there's books you can look and see what tracks, what animals made which tracks. But we're glad you guys joined us today. And we pray that you have a happy Sabbath. And if you can get outside, that would be great.